Hey, good afternoon to the East Coast and good morning to the West Coast. This is Eric Sharping, the Technical Director for Opus IVS. And today on our webinar series, we're going to be talking about GM programming with Henry Marino. Henry Marino's been in the industry, I guess, since birth. His father's had a workshop in Long Island for 40 years where Henry grew up in depth and involved with auto repair and followed his father's passion. He graduated from Lincoln Tech and saw the direction the industry was going and focused primarily on programming and the needs for programming. Henry's been specializing in just programming and mainly the J2534 format for the last 5 years. He's been working with Opus IVS for the last 2, and he's going to present to you the GM process, as GM outlines using the J2534. And before we get going, and I turn this over to Henry, just want to offer up, as we do typically for the weekly webinar series, we've got some promotional offers that come along with it. And this week's promotional offer, we're going to offer a free battery maintainer with the purchase of any DrivePro ES. DrivePro ES has a deal going on right now: 0 money down, no payments for 90 days. We get licensed OE diagnostics, unlimited brand-specific repair guidance. That's our unparalleled tech support for multiple brands, including Asian and domestic. Built-in flash programming for most models and assistance on programming through J2534 in the RAP program, where you'll often get to talk to Henry. So if you're already an existing DrivePro or AutoLogic owner, then we're going to offer this the same deal to you. Of course, it's not going to be free. We'll give you 25% off that battery maintainer, and that's a 150 watt unit. It's 90 amp supply. Supplies clean voltage. We got less, way less than 500 millivolts of ripple at 13.6 to 14.2 maintained voltage. So something to consider if you're interested in that deal. Make sure to fill out the form at the end of the webinar, and someone will get in contact with you. So again, free battery maintainer with the purchase of a DrivePro, or 25% off if you're already an existing tool owner. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the more than capable and stellarly handsome Henry Marino. That's you, bud.
Hi, good afternoon, guys, and good morning, everyone on the West Coast. Hope everybody's staying safe, or hope everybody's good. If you're working, hopefully you're staying safe and everything is working out well for yourself. Today, we're going to be learning about GM programming. We're going to do a 2005 and 2011 Chevy Silverado. On the 2005, we're going to do PCM programming. I'm going to walk you through how to subscribe to GM's website, also purchase their software, at the same time showing you how to program an SRS module on a 2011 Chevy Silverado. All right. Towards the end of the webinar, I'm going to have a little bonus for you guys, just to give you guys a little bit more in depth in programming with GM. So let's get started. What devices does Opus IVS provide for J2534 programming? So here, guys, here's introducing the new DrivePro ES that Eric mentioned to you guys earlier. It's the latest and greatest tool from Opus IVS. It's got full capabilities for diagnostics and pass-through programming. This tool actually has built in the RAP software and program for programming with the RAP program. So you're going to be able to have this in this tool. This is basically the layout of the tool. You have your diagnostics option on the left, which is the DrivePro. It covers basically all Asian, domestic, and special functions that you might be able to do on vehicles as well. it comes with BMW programming and coding included with an active monthly subscription. So not only can you do diagnostics with it, they give you a monthly subscription for European programming with BMW only at this time. But you're able to do Mercedes programming through the RAP software. We're not going to get too much into that today, but that when you start the service, you'll be able to learn that more. All right, and now we have the RAP programming software on the RAP kit. All right. And to set an appointment for RAP programming, you just have to call the number on the bottom left of your screen. It's 844-REFLASH or 844-733-5274. Once you call them, you're going to have to create an appointment with them, and they'll set you up. It goes by time, what times we have available for you for programming. So if you want an early programming, you're going to want to call early in the morning so we get you, early in there in the morning. If not, we have something later. For any of our Europeans programming that we do, we have time slots for them. So just keep that in mind. All right. So basically, as you have your RAP kit in the vehicle, this is what the menu is going to look like. It's going to give you the service hours of when we're available, Monday through Friday. Also on Saturdays at the moment, due to the pandemic, we're not offering Saturday programming at the moment. But once everything starts getting up and running again and things start to flow again like we normally do, we'll have Saturdays up and running from 9 to 3 p.m. So that's the great thing about RAP. We're here for you 6 days a week. All right. So, and we do Asian and domestic and European vehicles. All right. Okay, voltage must be above 12 volts and below 15 volts. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this. I'm sure a lot of you guys in the webinar right now have been doing programming and understand this. This is for the beginners, new guys there right now who are, seeing the webinar for the first time and don't understand the programming aspect of where the voltage needs to be at. It has to be above 12 volts and below 15 volts. All right. The great thing is that Opus IVS also offers a battery maintainer. Like Eric was mentioning before, for anybody who's existing right now who has the Drive Pro unit, it's about 25% off. Anybody who's looking to purchase a brand new Drive Pro ES unit, this is going to come to you for free. I believe that's a great offer, especially when you're doing programming. But this is absolutely a must when you're programming. All right. So in my opinion, I think it's a great offer. I would suggest you guys going out there and taking advantage of that offer today. All right. So if you look at the maintainer on the bottom right, as I have the red arrow there, there's terminals for the ground and power grounds. So you're able to, hook up a cable to it directly to the battery voltage of the vehicle. You also have an AC plug adapter that plugs directly to a wall unit. You're going to want to use an extension cord because I'm sure a lot of you guys in the shop don't have access to, put the maintainer directly into a wall unit in the shop. So, getting an extension cord will be ideal for that. All right. And on the top gives you instructions of exactly, what to do and how to set everything up on the battery maintainer before programming. All right. Also, this requires a 0 to 4 gauge. If any of you guys are wondering what type of gauge cables you need, 0 to 4 is the ideal range. That's what's required. Anything more than that, I'm pretty sure is overkill. All right. So 0 to 4 will be your ideal spot you want to be at. All right, so I just want to give you guys a little sample of the way it should look like on the vehicle if you want to set up your Drive Pro unit on top of the engine bay, and then plug in all your powers and grounds, and then have your maintainer on the floor. This is the ideal way of looking at it. There's another way of looking at it. So if you have the vehicle and the battery maintainer on the floor and you have the cables and powers, this is another way of setting up. You can also put your drive kit by the window. And at the bottom, as you see, I pointed out that there's an extension cord going directly to the power outlet. Obviously, I didn't have the power outlet here, so I had to make an extension cord. So this is what you want to do if you're trying to do it outside. I don't recommend you programming outside if it's raining. I'm sure that's common sense, but you'll be surprised a lot of people do it. So I don't suggest you doing it outside. We have it out here, so you guys have a better look of how it looks during programming. But the ideal way is having it inside the bay for programming. And also keep in mind, you don't want anybody touching the stuff while you're programming, because if anything hooks, depending on the vehicle that you're programming, you could damage a module. So you want to make sure that nobody is around the vehicle during the programming process. And this is another way you can hook it up. You have your better maintainer outside. Everything is hooked up. If you want to be inside the vehicle, seeing what the programming is doing, you can put it on the steering wheel, which is great. It's a great feature on the tool as well. What are PC requirements for programming with a pass-through device? Now, I know a lot of you guys out there right now in the webinar, because you're doing this for the first time, you probably have a Cardac Plus 2 or a Cardac M that you have right now. You just purchased through us, or maybe another aftermarket pass-through device. There's going to be PC requirements. So if you're going out there to buy a PC, you're going to want to purchase the correct PC for programming. You don't want to get any other, slow type of computer to program, or something really cheap, because you're going to want to get something that's going to, have all the capabilities and requirements you need for programming. Right, so you need a processor of 2.0 gigahertz. You need a memory of 2 gigabytes of RAM, at least, minimum. You want an available hard disk space of 120 gigabytes. That's minimum, guys. So you want to be above 120 gigabytes. Don't get anything below. Some of the software that you get might not be able to run, and you might have to get another computer. So keep that in mind. An interconnection, high-speed internet connection. When you're connecting the pass-through programming to the vehicle, you want to be hardwired. I know there's a lot of people who do it Wi-Fi. RAP even does it through Wi-Fi, but we're doing certain programming through hardwire, which is the ideal way of doing it. When I first learned how to program vehicles, I read this, and nobody really taught me how to program vehicles. So when I was reading this, I was told that the best way of programming, the ideal way, is to be hardwired to everything, the router and the vehicle. Software requirements: an operating system above Windows 10. All right, guys. So a lot of programs now are still using Windows 10, but everybody's moving up and they're upgrading to Windows 10. So you might find a program that might not be able to run because you're probably running Windows 7 and you have to upgrade to Windows 10. So when you get a computer, obviously a lot of new computers today have Windows 10, but if you have an older computer, you're going to want to upgrade that to Windows 10. You need access to Internet Explorer 9.0 or greater. This is very important. A lot of programs are not running Internet Explorer, the older versions. They're running everything newer now. Don't get me wrong. You can use Chrome on certain vehicles. You actually can use Chrome on GM Programming and Internet Explorer. But there's certain manufacturers out there you will not be able to use Chrome with, or Mozilla Firefox. You only can use Internet Explorer 9.0 or greater. You need Adobe Acrobat Reader. This is very important. This program actually runs the program and is able to, run it the way it should, and the program needs it. Java is very important. It runs a lot of programs today. It runs about everything today, and it's the only way you're going to be able to run the software properly. So you're going to want to download the latest software for Java. How to connect your pass-through for programming. This is very simple. It's not hard. People tend to complicate things. This is not a difficult process. Like I said, you have to hardwire everything to everything, unless you're doing Wi-Fi. So basically, you have the internet connection going directly to your laptop or desktop in your shop. Then you have a USB cord going directly to your Cardac 2, as you see here on the screen. And then you got the pass-through going to the vehicle itself. All right. So everything is running in series. So everything is running like it should, hardwired. Now, again, like I said, you can run things through Wi-Fi. Just make sure you have a good connection on your laptop computer through Wi-Fi so you can program this vehicle. Make sure you don't have anything, slow speed or anything like that. You want to have a good connection for programming. All right. So now we're going to get into the aspect of GM programming. All right. A 2005 Chevy Silverado PCM programming. Like I said earlier, guys, I'm going to run you through the registration process, purchasing the software, then we're going to get into programming the vehicle. All right. So first, this is www.ACDelco.tds.com. That is the website, www.ACDelco.tds.com. All right. Once you get into this website, this is the way it's going to look. You have a couple of options here. You have subscription options, key code options, store options, resources to find information regarding any vehicle or software that might be out now. At the top, you'll see there's a login screen with a register screen as well. And if you haven't registered yet, at the bottom on that red arrow you see, it says don't have an account sign up. That's where you click to register for the first time. If you have an account already, all you have to do obviously just log into your account. But since we don't have an account, I'm going to show you how to register. You click on don't have an account, sign up. All right. And once you do that, you're going to see the registration screen pop up. All you got to do, like everything else, just, put your information and everything you can in there that you like to put in there, just so they know exactly what's going on. Because, one time you might have to call GM regarding something with your account. You need a refund or money back. They're going to need this information. So, just put everything as you can, everything that's up to date, obviously. All right. And once you register, we log in. We want to purchase the software for the first time. So on the left, I have a circled there, vehicle programming software. That's where you're going to purchase the vehicle software for the first time. With GM, they do everything by VIN. So it's per vehicle. So if you have one vehicle, you're going to purchase one vehicle software, which is $40. If you have two or three, you have to pay $80 for two, $120 for three, and that's per VIN. Now, every VIN is available for you for a whole year. So if that vehicle comes in again within the year, you can actually select the VIN number to program within that year. So it's $40 for the whole year. All right. So today what we're going to do is we're going to select one. But I also want to go down the list with you guys real quick. So if you go down further on the page, you're going to see that you have other options. So as you guys start to learn more and more about programming, you're going to need to use TechWin, which I'm going to show you guys how to install that today as well. You're going to need GDS2 that, most of the time certain vehicles require you to use GDS2, but that's a whole new subject, and maybe later on in the months to come we might get into another webinar like that. But for today we're going to focus on pass-through programming. And then you have your general information at the bottom, all your manual information. If you want to get manuals, download them PDFs and make books out of them, you can do that there as well. So we're going to go now. We're going to go into the programming aspect where we have selected our one vehicle, which is $40. I'm going to add it to my cart. All right. I'm going to see my cart and make sure everything's correct, that I have only one vehicle that I'm about to purchase here, one VIN number. And then I'm going to check out. I'm going to have a terms and conditions and agreement document I have to read. All you got to do is scroll through that. If you want to read it, so be it. If not, just scroll down to it, agree to the terms, and click on agree. All right. And once you do that, it's going to ask you for the billing information. So this is where you're going to be able to put your billing information, your credit card information. They don't take checks or anything like that, or money orders. They take just credit cards. So all you got to do is put information there. Once you do that, scroll to the very bottom and then press next. Okay, and once you purchase there, you get a confirmation order number if you want to put down there for your books, or just have it for yourself for a receipt. You can have it there. You can even email it to yourself as well. And then once you do that and you have everything set, go to subscriptions at the bottom arrow. And then once you're there, under status and subscription names, you're going to see there's one available programming available because we just bought one. On the right, you're going to see view. You're going to click on view. Okay, and once you see that, you're going to see this window pop up at the top left. You should see one available slot. That means it's working, that you have one available slot for programming the vehicle. As you do that, scroll down to the very bottom. You're going to click on add VIN because you're adding another VIN to your list of vehicles you programmed. As you can see, I've done a bunch of them, so they're all stored there. You can also hide them if you want by clicking the hide icon. All right, but we're going to click add to VIN. Okay, then once you see this, it's just telling you that you need to have the latest Java software there installed. It's just these warning signs that come up, just letting you know you have to have the latest and greatest software available to be able to run the program. Again, right now we're using Internet Explorer. You can use Chrome, but you cannot use Mozilla Firefox or an Apple computer. You only can use PC. And when I forgot to mention that to you guys as well. A lot of guys out there, I'm not sure if they are using Macs, but in my experience, I've been using only PC computers. So, and GM runs through Internet Explorer. So, that's the ideal computer you want to get. I wouldn't get a Mac. I would get a personal computer when you're doing these programmings. Okay, and there's just another prompt screen letting you know, hey, Java's has to be up to date or it's going to be blocked from running the software. Click OK. I'm just going to give you a rundown of these options. Okay, service and program system. So this is where you're going to live for programming. All right, this is what you're going to click once you want to access the programming menu. RPO codes display. This is for like if you're looking for repair production order numbers for vehicles you're programming with. Let's say a BCM requires that. Certain model vehicles and certain GM vehicles require you to enter the RPO number when you're programming a BCM. That's absolutely required, and it's very important. If you do not put the correct RPO number when programming a BCM, you're damaging the BCM. That's it. It's done. You have to buy a new one. So knowing these RPO codes are very important. Do not ignore these. Security access, that's basically access security for TechWin. And calibration information. If you want to see if a module is up to date or if there's a new update available for the vehicle, you can enter the VIN and it'll tell you the calibration. You can enter the calibration. If you know the calibration already, you can actually enter the calibration there and see if there's an update available there. So we're going to click on service and programming systems because we're going to use the programming software now. Again, it's prompting me that the warning symbols again. Attention, make sure everything's ready to go. Press OK. And this is the menu you're going to be at. This is the start screen. Once you start it, you're going to be launching the GM software for programming. So we're going to click on Start SPS. You're going to run the software because Java is asking you to run the software. Again, it's very important to have Java up to date because this is what runs it. All right. So GM came out with this recently. They didn't have this before. It's called the J2534 Wrapper software. It's a new install version that they had from the prior version that they added to this program. They've been having a lot of issues with the programming with the newer one. If you see there, they're running right now currently that's working is 1.04.5.0. That program is actually working phenomenal. There's no issues with it. It's flawless right now. The new software that they came out with 1.04.8.0. That's having some glitches, and GM has announced that they're trying to fix the software, so they know about the glitch. So if you run into this issue where you have 1.04.50 installed, I don't recommend installing the new version because you're going to have problems programming the car, and then you have to uninstall the old version and install that current version. It can get a little difficult, all right? So if you have that already, I don't advise you to install it. Just skip it. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to skip it, all right, because we have our version that we need installed to program this vehicle. So we're going to skip that. All right, so this is the programming menu for programming GM. All right, so as you see here at the top, the selected diagnostic tools, basically whatever pass-through device you're using is going to pop up on that top screen. So if you're using a Cardac or you're using an aftermarket pass-through device, you're going to see this option there. So you're just going to select your pass-through there. If you do not see your pass-through there, that's because you have not installed the software for your pass-through. It's not that GM is not allowing you to use it. It's because either you haven't installed it or it doesn't see it. So you have to troubleshoot your way into seeing it. We don't offer IT for this, but eventually might in the future. But at this moment right now, you're just gonna have to maneuver it yourself. So, like I said, select the pass-through device at the top that you're using. At the bottom, you're going to see which one you can select. So reprogramming ECU is updating the ECU. Replacing reprogramming is replacing the module and programming the module. All right. So today, since we're replacing a module, I'm showing you how to program a PCM. Let's say I'm replacing it. So I'm going to click on replace and press next. Replace and reprogram. All right. It's going to now. GM's going to give you a preliminary instructions of what to do before starting the program. Turn the ignition off, verify the vehicle battery is fully charged, turn the ignition off, on and off, and then, connect your data link connector, your PC, and your pass-through device. Before you click next, though, you have to have the key on, engine off before you click next. All right. So in my opinion, you should have all this ready. All right. Shouldn't be being done while you're, doing the program. This should all be set up already. All right. So you can just click next and flow through. All right. So now we have the menu where we're going to build our vehicle. So at the top, I've selected Chevy. The middle is 05 that we're working on. It's a light duty truck. It's a Silverado. And then other engines, because the engine that I have, it doesn't pertain to the one that's listed. So I had to select other engine. You can click down the drop down menu and you will see other engines. But if it's not listed, it's going to say other engines, and you can select that other engines option. Once you do that, click on next. Okay, once you see this here, when you're replacing a new PCM, it should be a brand new one, should be blank. So when you go in here, you should not see anything listed on the screen. You should see everything blank at the top. If you have a VIN number in there, that means someone's already programmed the vehicle to it. And let's say you bought it and you think it's brand new, but you're saying, hey, I have a different VIN number here to the vehicle that I have. Why is that? It's probably either it's programmed to another vehicle before, and they probably swapped that out for another PCM because that PCM might have been no good, or it came from a used reman shop that never reset the VIN number of the vehicle. So this should be blank when you guys are replacing a brand new PCM. All right. So I inputted the VIN here because it was blank. So we're going to click on next. Once you do that, you're going to have a list of options of, types of modules you can program. As you can see here, we can do from ABS to driver door modules to instrument panel clusters to, body control modules, even the vehicle theft deterrent. We can do a relearn on that. If the vehicle theft deterrent is lost, you can always just click on that and just do a relearn. It takes about 12 minutes, so it's not that long. But today we're doing the PCM. So as you can see, I've highlighted an arrow where the PCM, we're going to click on that. And at the bottom, if you see normal and VCI, we're going to click on normal. You're not going to click on VCI. That's for GM's MDI, their VCI that they use. You're going to click on that if you ever use that. But for today's purposes, we're doing J2534. We're not going to be choosing that. We're going to be choosing normal. And then we're going to click on next. Make sure that the VIN number is correct in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Make sure it's not reading the old VIN number, because if you try to program it with the old VIN number you saw earlier, like from a used one or a reman, you're going to have to buy another subscription because it's going to think that you bought it for that VIN number. So that's very important when you look at that. Make sure that VIN number is the correct one before you click on next. But we verified that the VIN number is correct, so I'm clicking next. And I'm verifying communication with the vehicle at the moment, so I'm waiting for the device to load. All right, so I want to show you guys this real quick because some of you guys are going to run into this error message right here. Severe error reading ECU data from device. That could be either you're not communicating with the module anymore. Maybe the vehicle went to sleep. There's certain push start vehicles out there that, guys hold down the accessory button, but don't hold it long enough where the vehicle will stay awake. So it's going to go to sleep. So you want to make sure that vehicle is still alive, or there might be something else going on wrong with the CAN system or something else is happening. That's why it's giving you this error message. So you're going to have to go back and see what's going on and then to correct this issue. Once you correct the issue, you should not see this error message anymore. All right. All right, so we've passed that message. We've got into the programming. Now, this is the preliminary before we start the programming. Basically, on my right, it's going to tell me my current calibration to the module. And then on my left, it's going to show me the operating system of the module. You can go down the list on each module, and you can see each number if you want. For today, we're not going to show you, but I'm just letting you know that on the left is where you're going to be seeing any updates, calibrations that you see. So any numbers that you see different, that's when you can know there's an update available. But if you see everything that's matching, like you see here, then that means that the module is already programmed or up to date. But for today's purposes, we're going to pretend that that's not there available there, and we have a new calibration to program this PCM. So we're going to click on next. Okay, so like I said, if you have the same calibrations like you saw earlier, and you get this message, it's just GM telling you that you're attempting to program the module with the same calibration. It's not recommended, so stop. That doesn't mean that you can't reprogram it or program it again or reflash it. It's just letting you know that GM's letting you know, hey, you're programming with the same calibration. It's not recommended. Stop right there. But on certain cases, you can move forward, but it's on certain modules and certain years that it will not allow you. They'll give you an action blocked message letting you know that you can't program the car. But on certain vehicles, I believe in the older models, you can move forward and just reflash the vehicle again. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend just seeing if you can update the module and just going on the reprogramming. All right. So, if you see this, it's okay. You can just move forward and press OK. All right. And on most of the modules that you see that you're replacing, especially on a PCM, you're going to get this message where it says the HVAC, DPM, or RCDLR are going to stop communication after programming. I've been doing this for 7 years now. I really haven't seen an HVAC or DPM go down after programming PCM. Very rare. But if you see that happen, and all you have to do is don't panic, just remove the fuse, put it back in, or disconnect the battery, and you reconnect the battery, and that should bring the car back to life again. Once you do that, click next. You're going to start to see the programming menu now. This is where you're going to see the progress of programming. All right. So at the top is basically downloading the solver from GM server, and then it's loading it onto the vehicle at the bottom. So at the bottom, as you can see, it's saying estimated time remaining is 21:50. I don't go by that because that can, vary. It can go really fast. On fuel pump control modules, it goes within seconds. It programs the module. On PCMs, it takes about maybe, I would say, 3 to 5 minutes to program the module, maybe even faster. At the bottom, you're going to see the bits of programming that it's required. At any time you see this fail in the middle of programming, you're going to get an error message letting you know that programming has failed. That means, again, either the key went off during programming, or battery voltage went too low or too high during programming. So you have to, fix your battery maintainer, make it, lower or higher if you need to, depending on the status of the vehicle. So just fix that, and then you can move forward. All right. Once you're done, you're going to see action completed. You're going to see some, a warranty claim with the number on it. If you want to jot that down, you can. For your paperwork, if the vehicle comes back, you know that you can store that in your records. At the bottom, you see mandatory control specific instructions. Basically, it's just letting you know what you have to do after programming the vehicle. Like you have to clear all DTCs, or you have to turn the ignition off for 30 seconds. Just make sure you turn the vehicle off for 30 seconds and then turn it back on after you're done programming, and then clear the codes after that. Once you clear the codes, you're basically done programming the vehicle. All right. If you get a code for programming the vehicle of P0315, all you have to do is perform a crank variation relearn. That's a crank variation not learned code. If you get that code and you see a check engine light blinking after you program the PCM, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get that code. So all you got to do is use your Drive Pro ES and do the crank variation relearn with your scan tool, and you're good. All right, that should go away. All right, but also keep in mind, guys, after programming the PCM, you're going to want to do a vehicle theft deterrent relearn. Like I said, you just click on that vehicle theft deterrent relearn option that I showed you earlier. It takes about 12 minutes, and we'll do a manual relearn for you. Programmable relearn for you. All right, now we're going to do the 2011 Chevy Silverado SRS. All right, this is going to get a little longer than the PCM because we have to do a TechWin after this. So we have to program the SRS, and then we have to do an SDM primary key setup with it. All right. So once we do that, you're gonna have to install TechWin, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that now. All right. So now we got the program running. We bought a subscription already. We've built the vehicle already. We have a Chevy Silverado 2011. Okay, we know the VIN is correct on the vehicle. We're clicking next. All right, and this is the programming menu for this Silverado. So as you can see, it has a lot more options than the 2005. You've got a bunch of stuff you can do with this vehicle. So this is good to see because on the 05 you saw less. So as you guys can see, as it gets older, you have less programming available. As you get newer vehicles, you have more options available. All right. So just keep that in mind when you're programming these vehicles and what you're capable of doing. So we're going to click on SDM, which is a sensing diagnostic module. That's what GM calls their SRS module, the sensing and diagnostic module. So we're going to click on that. Make sure our VIN is correct for the vehicle. We're going to click next. All right, it's going to give you a preliminary. Shut the vehicle off, remove the existing module, put the new one in. Guys, in my opinion, I mean, you can do that if you want to keep the old one in there and then replace it when this menu pops up. You can do that. I don't do that. I tell the guys, hey, just put the module in there. I'll program the module for you. No problem. I've never had to remove the module and then, the original one and put a new one in there. It's very rare that happens. But, in some cases, if you're practicing this, do it. All right. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just telling you, in my experience, I was doing it for the first time. When I did it, I removed the module and I did it. And as I went along, I saw I didn't have to do that. I just had to have the new one in there installed. As long as I had communication, as long as I had good battery voltage and I had no pending codes to stop me from programming the vehicle, I'm good to go. So I'm just clicking next. All right, and this is the programming menu again for the sensing and diagnostic module. It's letting me know that the calibration is here currently, and the calibration there is current. But this is actually a new SDM that a customer brought in for programming a couple of days ago, and I wanted to show you guys this. So the original module had 13580449. That was the one it had originally. The customer installed a new module and it has the exact same module calibration in it already. So it still allowed me to program the module because it sensed that a new module was being installed. So I just had click next. And I made sure I saw that everything's working correctly. The VIN number is correct. I click next. And it programmed the module. Again, like I said, just because you see the same modules doesn't mean it's not going to program it. It will do it. All right. So this is a little different than the PCM. As you can see down here, I've highlighted in a circle. After programming the SDM, you must complete the following. Switch the key off for 1 minute. Return ignition to on. Then from the scan tool, run setup SDM primary key in BCM. And then very important, the airbag telltale on the instrument panel must be flashing in order to run the next step. Set up new SDM from scan tool. So that instrument cluster airbag light must be blinking before you do the SDM key SDM setup. But when it says the scan tool, that does not mean your Drive Pro ES. That means TechWin. They put scan tool there. I'm not sure why. They should put TechWin. And believe me, when I first started this, I thought it was a scan tool. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was my scan tool. Plugged it in, didn't work. There's certain ones out there that might be capable of doing it. But in my opinion, I would do it through the TechWin. Using OEM software is always the best way. All right. So we're going to go ahead and install the TechWin now. So again, remember that if it tells you scan tool, it's the TechWin software, or maybe the JDS2 software they may be using. All right. So, and this purposes, you need TechWin though. All right. So now we're going to install TechWin. This is where it gets a little complicated with TechWin. It's a program that's very old. It's not new at all. They haven't updated anything. This program, I think you only can use up to 2013 models. That's where it stops. Everything else from there, I believe it's only GDS2 from there on in. So this is 2011. So this pertains to TechWin. So now we're going to go ahead and install it. So now we're going to go back to our ACDelco main menu. And at the main menu, we're going to scroll down to the very bottom of the screen. And I just showed you guys earlier, there's TechWin there. All right. So I have it circled there on the right. You see I have the drop down menu drop down. I have 3 days for $55. I have 1 month for $225 and 1 whole year for $550. Now, if you're doing a lot of programming, you need TechWin, I advise you doing the 1 year. It's going to save you a lot of money and you'll make a lot, tons of money programming these vehicles. If you're doing it once in a while, I just recommend doing 3 days. I normally do 3 days because I really rarely find myself using TechWin a lot. So, we're going to, pick 3 days. All right. Right there, 3 days. And I'm going to add it to my cart. Once I add it to my cart, I'm going to get the same thing with terms and conditions. I'm going to agree to the conditions. I'm going to click on next once I entered all my information. Make sure I got the correct information when I place my order, that I have TechWin 3 days. I have it for $55. And I'll put my credit card information below. Then I'm going to place my order. All right. So once you place your order, it's going to take you back to the main menu. So as you can see under status, it's going to tell you when you purchase the software, and you can access it now. All right. When it's expired, it's going to tell you to extend your software or access your software. So you won't be able to use it after the 3 days. All right. You're going to have to buy it again for another 3 days to be able to access it. So over here, it's just going to tell you that it ends on 4/27. So you'll know the date and time it will end. Okay. Once you do that, it's going to bring you to this menu. I'm going to give you guys a brief rundown of each option. the software download is if you never use TechWin, you're downloading for the first time. That's what you're going to click on. If you've installed TechWin already, it's already in your computer, and you need to access it again, you're going to click on Security Access because you've already installed it. There's no need to download it. But this is very important. I put it down here in the red text for you guys. TechWin software must be running before running the Security Access program. So before you even click this program, you have to open up the TechWin software on your desktop. All right. And then once you do that and your access is granted, the software is going to run as normal, and you'll be able to gain security access to TechWin. And snapshots, not something I really use, to be honest with you. It's just for diagnostics and people just looking for live data that they've, snapshot in their TechWin, I guess. I've really never used it, to be honest with you. So, it's a snapshot. I guess that's all it is, right? But today we're doing the, software download TechWin. So we're going to click on software download. Okay, and then we have here the menu where we're going to click on Start Software Download. And it's going to start running Java. Again, like I said, Java has to be up to date, or it's not going to run any of the software that GM requires. So it's looking for Java to run the program. So it's launching it now. All right, then it's going to ask you if you want to run the software. Yes, I do want to run the software. Click on Run. All right, so this is very important. At the top, as you can see, it says it's not installed. So on this PC, it's not installed on this PC. On the right, it's telling me the available version is 2.34. So now instead of clicking on skip, I'm going to click on install because I want to install the program to my PC. So I'm going to click on install. It's going to start retrieving the data from GM so I can install my emulator onto my desktop. I'm going to click on next. Next again is welcome me into the programs to download it. And it's going to give me some terms and conditions, and then I just got to click on the check mark to accept. Click next. And then I can, put it into any folder I want on my desktop. Most of the times I put it on my desktop. So if you just leave it there, it will save it to your desktop. If you start changing things and move it around to different folders, you might not be able to find it. So I would just leave it as it is. I'll throw it into your desktop, and you'll have it there all the time. Click on next. Okay, then you're going to click on install the installed software. This doesn't take long, guys. It takes a couple of seconds. It's not that long. I would say maybe 30 seconds to install. Maybe if your computer's slow, it's going to take maybe 5 to 10 minutes. But if you have a fast computer, it shouldn't take that long. And you're going to click on finish. Okay, once you've clicked on it and everything's installed, you're going to see this menu here. All you got to do is click OK to move forward. All right, now you're going to see this window pop up. Now you're going to stop right here. You're not going to click on next. This is very important. Do not click on next at this point. What you want to do first, like I mentioned earlier, is that you want to run the TechWin software before you run anything else. So that software has to be running before you click on this box that you see here that says standard and custom. You're not going to click on that yet. So the program has to be running. So I'm going to move that to the side. I'm going to click on, I'm going to run the software. It's going to give me this menu right here. I'm going to click on default. You don't want to click on quick start because you haven't installed anything. So you're going to click on default because you're using an aftermarket or a required OEM J2534 aftermarket tool for programming. So I'm going to click on default. Then I'm going to select my Pasha device. You should see your Pasha device up on the top. And your Pasha device must be still plugged in to the vehicle and the computer, or it's not going to see it. It doesn't necessarily need to be plugged into the vehicle, just the computer, or it won't see it. All right, so make sure that your Pasha device is plugged into your computer so you can see it, and then just click on it when you see it, and then press OK. All right, so it's going to give you a series of messages here. This one's telling you your license is expired or does not exist. That just means that either you purchased the software already and the license is expired, or you don't have anything installed and you have to access the software, which we're going to do momentarily. And it's going to tell you TechWin is operating with an invalid vehicle communication device. That's all it's telling you, is that you're not using MDI, GM software for programming with the TechWin. You're using an aftermarket tool for programming. That's all that's telling you. So just press OK and ignore that message. All right, and then you're going to see the TechWin pop-up menu. Now you're going to stop right here, and now you're going to go back to that box that you saw earlier. You're going to make sure that you select Tech 2, not Tech 1, because you're not using a Tech 1, you're using a Tech 2. Click on Tech 2. Make sure you click on Custom, not Standard, because you're not using GM's tool for programming. You're using a custom tool for programming, which is an aftermarket patch device. Click on Custom, and then press Next. Then you're going to see this menu right here. This is very important. You're going to click on North America Operations Diagnostics. You're using this program in North America. You're not using it in any other place. You're using it in North America for operations. So you're going to click on here, that folder. You're going to make sure you're going to click on the latest folder that's out, which is 33.004. Make sure you click on English or whatever language you wish to use. I'm not, on this purposes, we're using English, but whatever type of language you prefer, more comfortable with, you may be able to do it. So we're going to click English for this purposes today and select. And then you should see the software move over to the next menu. When you see the software move over to the next menu, you're golden. You're ready to download the software. All this is doing now is once you click on download, it's downloading the software to your Tech 2 emulator. It's gaining access to Tech 2 and GM server to be able to finalize the function that we're doing with this SRS module. All right, so you're going to see this. Please wait, reading content for a diagnostic tool. And on your left, your Tech2Win should start to go crazy a little bit. You'll see download mode, starting up, and you'll start to see the screen flicker. That means that everything's working the way it should. Just let it be. Don't worry that it's flickering. That's what it's supposed to be doing. So once you start to see that happen, that means you're good. You're almost done. You're going to start to see the downloading progress bar flow. Just let it go through 100% until it stops. And then you're going to see the download has been finished. At this point, you've successfully installed Tech2Win on your PC. At the bottom, you should see the latest and greatest software that we selected before, which is 33.004. And I have that now in my Tech2Win. Then I press Enter to enter the program. All right, now we're going to perform the new SDM setup on Tech2Win like SPS told us to do earlier when we programmed the SRS module. So now we're going to do that with Tech2Win since we've installed everything and ready to go. So once I've clicked Enter, this is the menu that I'm going to see. You're going to want to ignore every other option besides Diagnostics. Diagnostics is where you're going to want to live for the passive programming feature. Click on Diagnostics. Start building your vehicle. This is a 2011 light-duty Chevy truck. Okay, and it's a Silverado. Now, what it's asking me is to enter the VIN number. For regular vehicles, cars, it's always going to be the fourth digit of the VIN. For trucks, it's always going to be the fifth digit of the VIN. So this is a truck. So I'm going to be looking for the fifth digit of the VIN. For this vehicle, the fifth digit of the VIN is C. So I'm going to be selecting C for this vehicle. All right. Once I select C, it's going to know that I'm a Silverado. All right. These are all the vehicles the VIN number has detected that has the letter C in their fifth VIN. An Avalanche, Captivia, and so on and so forth. I'm using Silverado, so I'm picking Silverado. I'm picking body because we're not doing powertrain, we're not using chassis, and we're not doing vehicle control systems. We're doing the body. It's part of the body control module, this SRS system. So we click on body. Make sure it's an auto or manual HVAC. It's going to start establishing communication. It takes a little time. Once I do that, I'm going to scroll down to my menu. As you can see, you have a bunch of options here. But for what we're doing today is we're doing the supplemental restraint systems, the inflatable system. So we're going to be selecting supplemental inflatable restraints. Excuse me. And you're going to press Enter. And then it's going to give you a couple of options here. Now you have diagnostic trouble codes where you can go ahead and check for codes, read data. If you took any snapshots of the vehicle, which obviously you shouldn't have to because you're not using Tech2Win for that, or the module ID information, you can get it from here. But for this purposes today, we're going to use module setup. You're always going to use this when SPS asks you to do something after programming. You're going to use module setup. So, and it asked me to do a setup new SDM. So here it is. So I'm going to click on setup new SDM. Press Enter. Now it's going to give you some directions to follow. Now I'm just going to read the top off to you because everything else is self-explanatory when you guys scroll down on the bottom. So it says, note, complete means that the setup procedure already has been completed. Required means that the setup procedure has not yet been completed. So you're going to find yourself programming certain diagnostic modules or supplemental restraint systems that have already done it. On these newer vehicles, it does it for you, the setup. You don't need TechWin. So anything beyond 2013, like 14, 15, 16, it'll do the SDM setup for you on SPS. So this is an older model. It needs to be done in TechWin. So if you, I know I'm going to see required because it's an older model. If you by accidentally program a 15 vehicle and you go ahead and do this, you're going to see that you're going to find yourself that it's complete already. That means it's already done. So you don't have to do it. It's happened, but that's a process of learning. So, we're going to go ahead and do the SDM setup. At the bottom, all it's telling you to do is to make sure the key is off, turn it back on, do a reset real quick and then move forward. So we're going to click on next. Right now, it's telling me that the setup new SDM is required. Okay. So I'm going to click on program at the bottom. Once I click on program, in a couple of seconds, it will tell me it's complete. That's all you need to do. There's nothing else you need to do but that. Once it says complete, exit out of the program. Now, I'm just showing you this because I'm about to show you something next that you're going to need for this. So once you program a BCM, right, you have to do what is called a SDM primary key setup. That means that it's marrying the BCM back to the vehicle theft deterrent relearn, and it's letting the vehicle know a new body control module was installed so that the vehicle theft deterrent relearn will start the car. On BCMs, when you program a BCM, if you do not do this procedure or skips the step requiring this procedure, that car will not start. So if it doesn't start and you program the BCM, it's probably because this function needs to be done. All right. So keep that in mind. So when you go in here and you see this primary key numbers correctly matched, procedure is not required, that means I'm golden. I'm good to go. This car will start and I don't need to do anything else. All right. So once I know that, I click continue and I'm done. Go ahead and erase your diagnostic codes. You should be able to start the car, and that car, just take it for a road test. Now, this is the bonus I told you guys. We're going to do a BCM programming real quick review. I've showed you guys everything else you need to do from the beginning to start, and I'm just going to show you real quick how to do the BCM on a vehicle. So all you're going to do is you're going to collect BCM for programming. Now, when BCM programming, it's going to want to know the theft deterrent relearn you're using for this vehicle and what region you're using it in. So for this vehicle, it's asking me to do a vehicle theft deterrent for either a new software for start of production, which is normally U.S. standard. And then it has another one where it says new calibration for Asian export vehicles. I'm pretty sure that's for the new Buicks out there that are from Korea that you need to program these vehicles. So you might need to select this one when you're doing vehicle theft for relearn. So this is very important. Make sure that you know the exact vehicle it's coming from or what region before you click next. All right, so for this vehicle, we're in the US, so I'm going to click the first one, and I'm going to click next. It's going to tell me everything that's going to program now. It's got a laundry list of things it's got to do, so I'm just going to click on next. And then it's going to program the vehicle, and this is the menu I'm going to get. All right, and once it's done, program the vehicle. Very important at the bottom, as you guys can see, there's another preliminary instructions that I need to do. It says after programming, you must run the following from the scan tool. Again, that means TechWin. You have to do the BPP, that's the brake pedal position sensor calibration relearn. You have to do a setup SDM primary key in BCM setup, because remember, you replaced the BCM. And you have to do a ReZero passenger presence system reset. And that's it. And you can find that in your TechWin at the top, as you can see highlighted in red. I put these can be found under vehicle control systems options on TechWin. Once you go there, you'll just have to find and navigate through that option where these are, and you could do them. It doesn't really what order you do them in, as long as you do each one. All right. And that's it, guys. The webinar is over. I hope you guys have learned a lot. I hope I didn't go too fast with you guys. We're going to do a Q&A in a little bit. If you guys have any feedback or any questions, you can always email us at webinars@opusivs.com. So now at this time, we're going to go ahead and do a little Q&A. I know people got some questions that are asking, so I'm going to do my best of my ability to answer these questions. And so here's number one. I believe, excuse me if I butcher your last name. I got Zach Schaaf. Can Can the JBox inside the Drive Pro ES be used to program all different makes yourself, like a card deck? Anything that a card deck can do, the programming software will do on your Drive Pro ES using the RAP programming software, not the actual tool itself. Remember, I said earlier that you can use, as long as you have a valid subscription, you could do BMW CIP programming on your Drive Pro ES. Just because it has a built-in pasture device doesn't mean that you can program every single vehicle out there because you have a pasture programming. That's why the RAP software is there installed, so that the RAP team, our services at Drew Technologies, can assist you guys on programming those vehicles that we have out now. If you go to Drew Technologies website, there is an exceptions list that you can look at to see what vehicles we can program, and what we cannot. So no, not necessarily you can't program everything on your Drive Pro unit, but you do have the programming software to get the services to get the job done. The next question I see here is Rick Palante. When hooking up the battery maintainer, should you use a negative on battery post or chassis? Ideal is a chassis because that's good ground. You could use your post, but ideally, I ask the guys to use chassis ground because that's the ideal spot. You're always going to get chassis ground, a good ground when you put it to the chassis. But make sure you put in a good chassis post, or you're going to have bad continuity. So make sure you have a good battery post on that. But it's not bad to put in a negative post. No. Okay, so I have Brian Spillner. Can the drive tool delete rear O2s on GM vehicles? Delete rears and O2s. I'm not sure about delete rears and O2s. That's diagnostics, so that's not really programming related. So you really can't reset O2 sensor codes with programming. You're gonna need to use that regular diagnostics for that. Let me see if I have any more questions here. Just give me a minute. Okay, I guess we're done, guys. I don't see anything coming in. Again, like I said, I appreciate you guys joining the webinar today. I hope you guys stay safe out there. We're trying our best here in New York to assist you guys in anything you need, diagnostics or programming related. Again, stay safe. If you're working, stay safe. Keep your distance, and have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.